It's been a strange quest to undertake. And not just strange, but terrible. Terrible enough that you now never wish to have a roof or ceiling of any kind over your head. Entering the dark lands below the surface of the world was always known to be dangerous, but you never thought looking up would be chief among your concerns when down there. Nor did you think looking up would simply make what is down that much more dangerous. All of this has stalled you at the front door of your next destination. You never thought you'd feel so comfortable in the arms of the fresh outside, exposed to the elements. But here you are, thinking several things you never thought you'd think. Gathering your courage to step under shelter, you heft the prosthetic arm you were hired to retrieve, recalling how unthinkable it was to expect finding it in the belly of that monster. How did it even survive in there? Well, it is made of pure platinum. A platinum prosthetic, set with frames and barrels, coils and needles. Not just a finely crafted limb replacement, but an artisan's tools lost in a strange land to an even stranger creature. Another thing you had never considered would cross your mind. Strange how upside-down things have caused you to flip your ways of thinking. You take a deep breath in and glance at the sign out front. And now it dawns on you why the shop is named as it is. Mr. Roper's Piercing and Tattoo. It's almost laughable. In a brutal sort of way.
Hey there, creatures, and welcome to Encounter This, a podcast exploration of the creatures from Dungeons & Dragons and the lore that surrounds them. Hello there, creatures, and welcome to another episode of Encounter This. I'm your host, James. C is for ceiling. And with me, as always, Freeman. G is for ground, ice tin. And today we're going to be going through Piercers and Ropers. Is this how we normally intro this show? On Monster Manual 254 and 261.
I could tell you it's not.
Freeman.
I could tell you it's not how we usually show, because you forgot your own last name on that one.
Yeah, that's what I
thought. James' last name for this episode is C is for ceiling. All hyphens in between. Piercers and Ropers. This is a special episode. Because I think it's the first time we've really just mashed two into one. I know, aside from like sweets and stuff like that, this is a normal everyday episode, the usual. But we have two separate stat blocks and separate pages in the Monster Manual. But we have combined them for a very specific reason, and that is because they are directly related in that piercers are the larval form of ropers. And,
okay.
Yeah.
And this is a follow-up to our last episode 63,
yes.
I believe, the Darkmantle?
The Darkmantle, yeah. So talking about that whole hiding in plain sight in a cavern as a stalactite, and that sort of thing, you know, and I think I even said on the episode, like, this is what I'm doing next, because why not? And
you did. I literally just finished that.
Okay, perfect. And so I went for it. There was actually a little bit of confusion behind the scenes and or off mic as well about whether or not there were piercers in 5e, because there was a weird little thing on the Forgotten Realms wiki in which piercers don't have their own page except for ones that existed in first and second edition, and I found out why. And it's a bit of a strange thing, but it's the piercer actually appears on the Roper page, and not only because it is the larval form of the Roper, but because they basically, in some respects, reinvented the creature. So the piercer in 5e is wholly separate from the piercer in 1e and 2e. Although quite similar. So
it's, just so I'm clear, the piercer in 5e is the larval form of the Roper, and yet it's not on the same page as the Roper?
Yeah, so you can see why the confusion was. So the Roper's been around since first edition. It's been in all the editions. And the
Right.
Piercer first appeared in first and second edition, but didn't really appear in third and fourth, and basically appeared again in fifth edition, but they had changed it. Changed it enough for it to have to not be on the same page as the original. And one of the chief reasons is that the original Piercer was still a Piercer in its adult form. So it was not in any way related to the Roper originally. And so in fifth edition, they decided to bring it back, and they went ahead and made it directly related to the Roper. So I'm still not 100% sure why the Piercer doesn't have its own, why it's not included in the other page. Oh, they changed it in 5e, but rather they threw it onto the Roper page. But so it's a little bit confusing in that regard. But I found my way around it, and we'll touch lightly. We'll touch very lightly on the originals. But I decided to omit a reasonable amount of information just for the sake of keeping focus on 5e, I can generally say quickly that they share a lot of the same traits.
Perfect.
And the theme around them is pretty much the exact same. I've got a couple fun quotes like we usually do, and I'm going to do one for Piercer, and this one actually comes from first and second edition. The Piercer did appear in an ecology section in Dragon Magazine. Just quickly become some of my favorite content is that old ecology stuff. And in this case,
they're great.
Yeah, in this case, it's only like a 2-page spread. One page is like pictures, and the other page is just like, it's actually like a sort of written down version of someone giving like a lesson on what piercers are.
Oh, that's actually perfect.
It's really cool. And so that's the whole ecology. It's literally just someone talking about piercers to a group of like arcane students of the arcane knowledge and stuff like that. And then within said thing, there's a quote. So there's a quote within a quote, essentially.
Okay, before you get into that quote, well, I want to give the listeners a peek behind the curtain here. We don't normally do this, and this is not a part of the show that we normally talk about, but when we write the expositions, we record them completely separately, and normally Freeman doesn't listen to mine until the episode goes live. Mm-hmm. I think it's a nice little treat for him. I listen to his because I do the final mix for the episodes. The expo that I wrote for Darkmantle is about a professor in Neverwinter's first expedition into the Underdark.
No way.
And their encounter with a Darkmantle, and it's an excerpt from one of his journals.
That's awesome. I have not heard that yet either, so that's so good. That's awesome. Well, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I did send you the picture just now. This is the page spread from Dragon Magazine. And I am going to post it on Instagram, and of course we will link it in our description and stuff like that as well for our reading notes.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, it's really, really cool. And so I'm going to read the quote that's within the quote. So this whole excerpt has this other quote. So the person giving the lesson quotes this other book or what have you. He says it's from the bestiary of Zigag the Sage. And it says this: Ye piercer doth look like unto a stalactite, and hangeth from the roofs of caves and caverns. Unto the height of a man, and thicker than a man's thigh do they grow, and in groups do they hang. If a creature doth pass beneath them, they will by its heat and noise perceive it, and fall upon it to kill and devour it, though in any other way they move but exceedingly slow. I love that. It's a quote within a quote. It's just fun. I'm having way too much fun with this.
No, that's great. I love that.
Yeah, and you can also see accompanying that picture is literally a bisection of this creature in all of its organs. So just the amount of details, crazy.
Yeah.
But of the pictures,
and did you see the Latin name at the top there?
Mollusca megastromus pilum. So these are specifically mollusks, the original.
Cool.
Yeah. they have labeled them specifically that. So if you scroll up, James, into the Discord there to the first images I posted, you'll see one familiar where it's just one like on the ground, and then a couple more. So those first 3 images come from first and second edition. A couple more are when they're hanging on the ceiling. You can kind of see in that second one, the black and white one, where it's it's sort of. You could tell which one's standing. You can kind of see the eye there, and you can see at the very top where the foundation is where this so-called stalactite would be connected. You could see that it's got this separation and these little like things holding on to the ceiling.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. We had one very similar to this for the Darkmantle that's going to drop in a couple of weeks, and they're so good.
Yeah. Basically, that's all I'm really going to touch on the original, because they are pretty much the exact same. The significant exceptions are basically the original had 2 eye stalks that would kind of stick out from the side, whereas the Piercer, evolving into the Roper, they have one singular eye on its sort of body or what have you. So that's like one of the main physical differences. But let's just get straight into the 5e Piercer. Okay, so here's what the Piercer does. They have a slug-like squishy body that is protected by a rock-like encasing shell. And the slug portion is what allows it to move along walls and ceilings, positioning itself high above. It has a single eye and mouth on one side of the body, and so long as they are closed, the Piercer is indistinguishable from regular rocky formations, particularly stalactites, as we've more or less said. From their position on the ceiling, they wait with extraordinary patience. While they can see, they do need to keep their eye closed in order to not be spotted. And as such, they can accurately detect and track prey through noise and heat signatures. So they don't need to look. And once they do have their prey coming close, they drop down from the ceiling with amazing accuracy and complete silence. And if they miss their targets, they have to slowly make their way back up the wall, the ceiling, making them extremely vulnerable. And this is why they usually gather in colonies and drop in tandem, maximizing their chances of a shared meal. And they also are known for attacking in tandem with the adult Ropers. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's not just one here and there as you travel through. You're going to have a barrage of these when you hit the wrong spot, is the idea. And it says amazing accuracy. We'll see that not quite reflected in the stat block. But for considering what it is they're doing, simply dropping straight into you, it is pretty wild that they can sort of wait for that right moment and come at least very close.
Yeah, and they're like pointed like a stalactite, so they're going to be more aerodynamic and more prone to drop straight the straighter they are.
Yeah, I just love it actually gives me chills, the idea of like having several of these just like drop with complete silence and just like boom, 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 all around you, and you're just getting nailed by a couple in the back. It would be terrifying. What I will say about the original descriptions is that this sort of like rock-like encasement. They described it in a really cool way in that as soon as they are born, they start to like eat. They're just hungry. So they start eating like fungus and bacteria off the cave walls, but they also absorb small pieces of minerals and rock and sand and everything. And that basically excretes from their skin, and that starts to form the hard shell around them. So it goes into their system.
Isn't that like how crabs and shit work? Isn't that like how they're like
I think
they
so.
grow, like they're chitinous shells?
Maybe, yeah. You might not. I'm not. I don't know for sure, but that's it rings a bell. And if it's true, that's awesome. It's so cool. It might be a thing that mollusks tend to do in general. Perhaps.
Probably.
Yeah.
I was just thinking like it's a fucking mollusk. This is probably a thing that this is the gooey duck of the cave.
Yeah. And what I do know too is in the original they could actually come out of the shell. So they would actually, I think they kind of needed to in order to devour their prey. So they had to like strike to kill and then get out of the shell and devour their prey, and they were like extremely vulnerable in that state when feeding, essentially. But I think the new Piercer, at least by the artwork, which is pretty great, by the way, for 5e, they don't seem to have a shell to come out of. They just seem to be, their outer layer is quite sturdy and rocky.
Yeah, the one in 5e kind of definitely looks a lot more larval than the other one.
Yes, big time. And I think that's one of those big differences. Is, like I said, the original piercer was a piercer from young to adult, so they didn't evolve into something else or some greater or grander creature. Rather, they basically probably reached adulthood when their shell was fully formed, that they can come in and out of. Right, so.
Yeah, fair enough. And I just looked it up, and they are, they're Mollusca megastromus pilum, and I went looking for what a stromus is.
Mm-hmm.
But a strombus is like a snail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like the Latin family name for like a specific group of snails, like where conch shells and stuff come from. So,
hey, that makes sense because they have the two little snaily eye stalks as well. So they're clearly inspired by that. Yeah, the originals do. Okay. Yeah. If you look at that diagram again, the one I sent you, you can see they have two little eye stalks on their side.
Oh, is that what those? Oh, it is what those are.
Yeah.
Okay, I just assumed those were like feelers, like coral.
Nope,
but that's
eyes.
So gnarly.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, but that's it for the piercer. Nothing fancy. You know, a lot of back.
It doesn't explain how the 5e piercer turns into a roper, because these creatures look vastly different.
Don't they? Yeah, no particular explanation of that process, sadly, because they abandoned the ecology stuff forever ago.
I would love to know how their mouths migrate down.
Well, no, look at the 5e artwork. The mouth is on the side. It's just...
Is that what that is?
That's its mouth on the side below the eye.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The top part is actually, I think, from what I believe, is that's the part that helps it walk and grab onto things to hang from the ceiling. So the tail end is what stabs you, and you can see these little legs and stuff on its back that help it walk along. So it kind of like walks on its head almost and grabs by its head.
Right.
Yeah, or like the back of its head, if you will.
I don't care for it, but I get what you're saying.
And there is a different evolution of sorts when it comes to that climbing, because these tend to be a little bit more slug-like or snail-like, if you will. And obviously the 5e piercer has some little appendages to help it climb. Or the ropers, I can say, and it'll come across in my notes here, but they have like thousands of little cilia, little hair-like cilia, and that's what allows them to move and climb. So they grow more and more and more and more of these tiny little hair-like cilia things, and that's what helps them be mobile, if you will.
Right. Okay. And I'm guessing that's what those little claw things are on the back of it.
Yeah.
I'm imagining this to be a pretty zoomed in image.
Yeah. I mean, although they're much bigger than you would expect. My guess is that these tend to probably grow smaller and then they sprout into more and more tinier appendages. These cilia.
Right.
But,
okay.
We'll get to that. Let's go to ropers. Here's your quote.
Okay.
Here's your quote for ropers. You see, stalactites grow on the ceiling, and stalagmites reach. Ah! An explanation is cut short by a roper attack.
I just about spit out my Guinness.
I knew you'd like that one.
You got me at exactly the right time for that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. It just puts me in mind of the exposition I did for Sturges.
Oh yeah, so good.
All right, well, ropers. Unlike the piercer, the roper is quite dangerous on the ground. They do not need to be up high and dropping on you. They can climb walls and ceilings as well, though. And just like their offspring, they are indistinguishable from rocky formations when their eye and mouth are closed. But of course, they can appear as stalagmites or stalactites. And they move, and stick to surfaces via thousands of tiny cilia at its base. So their head portion definitely becomes the pointy part, as the bottom must spread out and form this like more wide base. For anyone listening is like most people, unsure of how to distinguish stalagmites and stalactites. That's what our nicknames were at the beginning. C is for ceiling, G is for ground. It's like a very common mnemonic device for distinguishing those two things.
And your nickname in Darkmantle was the one that I grew up with, and that's stalagmites hang tight.
Oh, that's right.
Or sorry, stalactites hang tight.
You got it wrong.
Yep.
We definitely discussed this in Darkmantle too, didn't we?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, not to this depth.
Sure. Well, so back to ropers. They eat nearly anything that comes across their path, from underdark beasts to adventurers. It basically tries to surprise its prey with a different strategy, though. As soon as one might see the eye open, they are set upon by long, sticky tendrils that draw them in towards the roper's stony teeth. Its bite can be quite fatal, and its tendrils sap strength as hair-like growths sink into flesh, reducing the chance of escape. The roper has 6 nubs along its body from where the tendrils will sprout, and these tendrils can be cut off, but the roper can replace them nearly instantaneously.
Okay.
And the roper is known to be able to digest most anything except for a select few things. Platinum, gemstones, and magic items. Which means, of course, precious things can sometimes be found inside the belly of a roper. And in particular, alchemists are known to prize their digestive juices, as they make for an excellent and high-value solvent.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. In the roper, from a couple things from different sources, such as 3.5e, 4e, Dragon Magazine, which, by the way, these guys do also have their own ecology section. I didn't get too far into it. It was like not nearly as well laid out as usual, but there's still little tidbits in there that I snatched from the wiki. And it's basically said that they would kill and eat far more than necessary, simply because they never knew when the next meal might come. So they would just gorge themselves based on the off chance that they might not eat for a while. And
Right.
And there were a couple interesting parts I thought here, but they specifically said on the wiki, citation needed. So there were known surface ropers that would evolve into different forms. And so such as taking on the form of a dead tree, which we see reflected in the artwork in the 3rd edition. It looks like a dead tree. So I don't know.
Yeah,
so
that was real weird.
Yeah, it said citation needed, but clearly in the artwork, there it is. You also notice that in 1st and 2nd edition, they look more like blobs. They look more gelatinous.
Yeah, they look exactly like the Blob family from Futurama. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember that at all.
yes, yeah. Absolutely. And the first one, it literally looks like a Hanna-Barbera villain from like Scooby-Doo. Looks like he's just wearing a sheet.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But these guys are like, they're pretty nasty looking, especially the 4 and 5e artwork. They look like these big rocky formations with these massive lamprey-like mouths, at least in the 4th edition lamprey-like. And just
the 5e is the mouth of a goblin shark.
Yes.
And if you don't, are you familiar with the goblin shark?
Reasonably so, yeah.
Okay, do not Google it unless you want nightmares, listeners. It's fucking horrifying. Obviously, because I hate Freeman, I'm sending him a picture now just to remind him.
I can't wait. Oh, yes. Oh, so cool. Nature is metal.
Yeah. Well, one of the features about sharks is that they can unhinge their jaw and then stretch it out further, very similar to a snake, but it like comes out of their gums. And that's just what a goblin shark looks like. And I swear to God, listeners, do not Google it. You will have nightmares.
No, do it. It's awesome.
It is. They're really cool, but they're gnarly.
Yeah. So yeah,
I actually got to get that out of the chat. 'Cause I can't keep it.
I love it.
It's so weird.
The other citation needed note that I have here was that, and I thought this was very interesting, because, well, we might cover it a bit here in the stat block, but it is said that ropers were known to be reasonably intelligent and insightful, and would spend their spare time learning about their surrounding world and contemplating philosophy. And brave religious pilgrims sometimes would seek them out for their insight.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
That's a lot.
Yep.
Like that's
Citation
that's a
needed.
lot. Yeah.
Odd thing. There's a part of me that likes it because, like, okay, yeah, they're sitting in stony caverns, alone for who knows how long, even without a meal. And so, are they reasonable? If they are reasonably intelligent, then what is going through their head? So I kind of get it. They're like they're hermit-like,
Right.
But yeah.
Let's see what the stat block says about their int.
Yeah, you're not
or wisdom. I guess this would actually be more wisdom than anything.
Yes and no.
Insight is a wisdom skill.
True. Yeah, that's true. But then, like, I've always said that wisdom is more about instincts and intelligence is more about, actual brain power. So you kind of need both if you want to be insightful through the contemplation of philosophy, you're going to need intelligence. You're going to need a bit of both, realistically. Yeah. So, of course there is no cultural lore. I didn't find anything about, myths or legends or creatures around stalactites and
You
stalagmites.
got Brett Blob and the Goblin Shark.
Yeah.
That's good enough for me.
That's good enough, yeah. For those who don't know, stalactites and stalagmites are mineral formations that caused by dripping of water and other liquids, and there's a whole bunch of processes to it. There's different types. Anyway, what James and I do love are words, even if we're not always good with them. So I did make a note here in the etymology, and it comes from Greek, and the suffix ites means connect with or belonging to, and then the Greek word stalactos means dripping, and stalagmius, or however you say it, means dropping or trickling. So both stalagmites and stalactites, have this shared relationship in their naming, and that they belong to things that are dripping and or dropping or trickling or what have you.
And if you want to see a good example of the formation of them, there is also a Futurama episode where that happens.
You just posted the Goblin Shark again.
I know. It's the one where Fry travels through time. Leela goes to Cavern on the Green and shoots up the ceiling.
That's so good. You been watching Futurama lately, or you just know it really well?
No, this is my show.
Futurama. You're like one of those Simpsons fans that knows every quote possible, but you do it for Futurama instead.
Pretty close. Yeah. Futurama is. It's really hard to pin down my favorite show of all time, but Futurama is always the right. Like Futurama and MASH are always in that conversation.
Oh, man, hell yeah. I'm with you. I'm a Futurama person over The Simpsons, big time.
Yeah, I revisited a little bit of it lately, and it's not anywhere near as funny. Where I can still watch, like I've seen every episode a dozen times, and I can still watch it, and it'll still fucking make me laugh out loud.
Yeah,
like no matter what episode we put on.
Yeah, there's always something. Me. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I have a little bonus for you as well, because I was looking up a little bit about stalactites and stalagmites and that sort of thing. I found an image of shark tooth stalactites, which are my guess for the inspiration of the Darkmantle. Because look at this image.
Oh, that's cool.
Really cool. They have that sort of look where you have that almost webbing around the tendrils or tentacles that the Darkmantle had. You can almost see like they're kind of sort of bunched up and then hanging from the ceiling in this way, and it almost looks like that's what this could be.
Yeah,
and that's specific
like sharp bats.
Yeah, and those are specifically formed by lava.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I just thought that was pretty neat.
You have it here, listeners. This little mini suite brought to you by Sharks and Futurama.
And beer.
And beer.
Cool. So that's all I got. That's all I got for story time. We're going to take a small break here, and I'm going to show you some amazing artwork that came along with this. Some of it's really simple, but some of it's great. Here's a piece of art. All this will be on the Instagram of a silhouette of someone having been pierced by a piercer.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, it almost looks like it's his head up at the top at first, but it's actually the back end of the piercer, and he's like leaning back, and you can see it's gone straight through his torso.
Yeah. I definitely thought this was just a person with a flat top.
Yeah, right? It took me a second as well. I was like, what? And you're like, oh, that looks vicious. That looks like a brutal death. It
definitely wouldn't be pleasant to stab through the heart.
Here's a hilarious piece where this is from the trading cards or whatever. It looks like a slime. It looks like an ooze.
It does. It does look like an ooze.
And it's a roper, yeah. So it doesn't stand up to most of the lore, but it's kind of a cool piece of art.
You know what? It kind of does. I bet you this is a surface roper, and this is like a jungle, and it's like evolved to kind of like growing roots or vines.
Maybe, yeah. Not a bad call. Not a bad call. Here is one of a couple people fighting a roper. It's kind of an awkward shape image, but it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that is awkward as all hell. It must be like a side image.
Yeah,
that is so much bigger than I thought it was going to be.
It's big.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not small. It's just lifting a dwarf up into the air, and someone's about to come out with an axe. Yeah,
it's
pretty
cool. And this definitely is a 5e roper, and it definitely looks a lot more like a lamprey-esque mouth. It's got like 2 rows of teeth inside. It definitely isn't. Like, there's no world in which this mouth can close without it stabbing itself, but it looks cool.
Yeah, seriously. There's another one where the roper's hanging from the ceiling, pulling.
Oh,
pulling
cool! I'm glad to finally see that represented because
it
was mentioned, but we don't see it.
Yeah, and this one is so epic. This is the best.
These are popular, eh? Are these one of those D&D creatures, like the ones owned by Wizards?
I actually don't know, to be honest.
I got my monster manual right here. I can flip to the front cover. That last one looks like concept art for like a video game.
How cool is that one? It's just like I love it.
Yeah, that one's fantastic.
It looks terrifying. It's just like, again, it's got an adventure up in the air. They've dropped their torch in their bag, and they just they clearly look like they're in full panic. Like no one saw this coming. Pretty wild. Anyway,
I actually don't see it in the front of the monster manual. I think they changed after the original printing of like the copyrights and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I know they're included in Pathfinder, so they're not an original, maybe not a copyrighted IP.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They're probably not then. Yeah. But like by the quality of this art, it really looks like D&D leaned into them. Like that logo in that one from the ceilings, the 4th edition logo. Like that was probably
that's from, I think that comes from the Underdark book specifically.
Oh, does it?
Because it even says Underdark TM on it. Like I'm pretty sure it does.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, really neat. So much good artwork for this episode. So hit up
that last one is crazy. It legitimately looks like a Dark Souls boss fight, like concept.
It really does. Yeah, it's like so gnarly. I love it. But that Speaking of dark, why don't we crack into the controversial segment of mechanics?
Is it controversial now?
I think so. Oh. I think it's a controversial segment in our show now because we tend to rip things apart here.
Like 60% of the time, I would say. Like, obviously, we're not happy with the creatures. We're dungeon masters.
Yeah. They're never good enough.
They're just not right for you.
Yeah.
Like Matt Coville says, and I'll say it for the rest of my life. Encounter design doesn't stop at initiative.
Yeah.
So, you should be changing these things. You should be fucking with them.
Hell yeah.
The map is not the territory. But let's do it. What are these? CR 15?
No.
One is literally throwing a human being.
I know.
CR6. CR6 is like an actual guess for me.
Okay.
Though. Like they look like they should be CR6.
Well, the Piercer's a CR 1/2.
Sorry, what? Oh, okay.
Piercer.
Yeah, that makes sense. They're little. Yeah. They don't do anything for me.
Yeah, and the Roper is a CR5.
Okay, I can fuck with that.
However, considering the fact that it's likely to encounter multiple piercers and or a Roper at the same time, you are probably looking at a CR6 or 7 encounter at the very least.
Okay.
Be my guess. So, yeah. So we'll cover Piercer first. CR1/2, HP 22, speed of 5 feet, climb of 5 feet. Very, very slow. AC of 15 with natural armor. They are medium in size. They are not small or tiny. And they are a
That's interesting to me.
Yeah, isn't it? They are a sizable creature considering what they do. And so they're monstrosities and they are unaligned. They have no language or resistances or immunities to speak of.
I know that I'm not supposed to say it, but every time I hear unaligned now, all I can hear is unaligned, which is what they call land in the Wheel of Time. Every time somebody says unaligned to me, I want to correct them. I'm like, no, it's actually pronounced unaligned.
I love it.
Oh God, I need to stop listening to those books for a hot second and get my life back together.
No, keep going. Yeah, so they do have blind sight up to 30 feet. That's the sound and heat detection, and then dark vision 60 feet. So when they do open their eyes, they can see. Passive perception of 8, stealth +5. Although I can be perfectly honest with you, I ain't rolling shit if they're dropping from that ceiling. They auto win, in my opinion. Auto win. They still have to roll to hit.
I'd probably,
but you don't detect
which
them.
I'd probably roll with advantage.
Yeah. So they are 1 intelligence -5. This is where the unaligned part definitely comes in for me, is that they just don't have the intelligence to be aligned. They are based on pure beastly instinct. They have false appearance and spider climb for their abilities, both of which we've covered previously. So essentially, indistinguishable as long as they remain motionless, eye and mouth closed. And then spider climb, they can do walls and ceilings.
Makes me wonder why they bothered giving them a +5 to stealth.
I mean, they could still be on the ground sneaking around. Maybe if you come across a fresh kill, or something that's been devoured and they're still making their way up the wall, they might still have to roll for that because they are in motion, be my guess.
Right.
Which is where my brain was at, and then I was like, no, if they're dropping, it's still a guaranteed you don't hear it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But like if they are in motion, which is very, very slow motion, but if they are, then they might want to roll stealth, depending on the scenario.
Okay. You've convinced me. I'm on board.
Cool. The spider climb. They basically can climb those walls and ceilings without having to do an ability check, and then they have one attack. It's called drop. It's only a +3 to hit. They are only 1/2 CR, and it has to be a creature that's directly beneath the piercer. So it's kind of a shared square scenario for the attack. And it does 1d6 piercing per 10 feet dropped, up to a maximum of 66.
Okay,
which
that's
is
pretty cool.
A lot for a CR1/2 if you want to maximize that. However, if the piercer misses, which is fairly likely, it takes half the normal falling damage of the distance fallen.
Right. Which is 1d6.
Per 10 feet.
Yeah.
And then cut in half. So you have a lot of math happening there. If you want to do a group of these dropping at once, you don't have to go. You can always do like one spread, like roll each to hit, and then figure out how many have actually missed, and then just roll a flat amount and have it for all of them. Make your life a bit easier. But they basically all they can do is drop. They have no other attacks. They can't attack while they're on the ground, and then they will take damage if they miss. So like they take a huge risk in this drop. But if there's lots of them, I guess that actually does. Ooh, now that I'm saying this out loud, it does posit the sort of they can't all drop on the same square. I don't,
No, they couldn't.
Yeah.
They would have to drop on
so they'd be dropping on multiple
different squares.
Yeah, multiple party members at the same time. But then as you move the next square, they could drop again. As you move to another square, another one could drop as well. I wouldn't make them. I wouldn't have them drop as a reaction to you entering a square, but rather wherever you land, if you happen to pre-arrange where these piercers are in which square, and then someone stops there, then they're at risk. But how would they know? So anyway, interesting thing to sort of like get the logistics on for a group of them dropping.
Yeah. We'll talk about it in the homebrew. Okay. But I have some thoughts on it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So that's it for the piercer. Pretty straightforward. Other than the group dropping.
Honestly,
simple.
for a CR 1/2, I don't hate that.
Yeah,
like
me
22
neither.
is a lot of HP for a 1/2. I mean, it's not, but like,
yeah,
kind of is. Like, that's not a one-hit kill for most players at level 1.
And even AC 15 for 1/2 is nothing to scoff at. Like at level 1, you're going to be hitting that relatively easily because what's your top AC at level 1 is typically around 20. Right? But for a 1/2, it's a 15. It's solid, especially if you're fighting multiples of these.
Yeah, but once it drops, it's fucked.
Basically,
like, 5-foot movement. Like,
yeah,
gotta get back to a wall, climb up the wall before it can attack again.
It can move up. It can move maximum 10 feet per turn, and its only chance is to like get around a corner and like start to stealth from there and hope for the best. But otherwise,
or just like
screwed. Yeah,
like camo into the ground, like hide action or what have you. Like I'd probably do that.
Yeah,
but
I think one of the particular things about this creature is that they cannot mimic a stalagmite. They can really only do a stalactite. It's not
right, but that's where I would put the stealth in. Like,
right. Okay.
I wouldn't give it its false appearance, but I'd give it its stealth.
It could at least look like a fallen over piece of rocky formation.
Yeah, because with false appearance, like there's no perception check that can perceive it. Like that's what this
point.
ability does.
Yeah, for sure.
So like if it was just camoing into the ground, I'd just use its stealth DC.
Yeah, totally.
Or roll a stealth check.
Yeah. Yeah, totally on board with that.
All right, you've roped me in with that. Now hit me with the roper.
Get out. Roper, CR5, HP 93, speed 10 feet, climb 10 feet. So they're marginally faster. Well, 100% faster, but still quite marginal on their speed. AC 20, natural armor. They are large and monstrosities, and they have an alignment of neutral evil.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah, this is where I start to cringe a little bit. Same with languages, resistances, and immunities. Nothing to speak of. Dark vision 60 feet. No blind sight. Somehow they've lost it.
Well, they got that big old central eye.
Right. But why have they lost their blind sight? I don't understand that. I'm not a fan of that already.
I can tell you why, and it's because those little snail eye stalks have fallen off in the evolution.
That was in the 1st and 2nd edition, not in the 5th edition Piercer. They don't have those.
Well, it's in my 5th edition.
Save it for the homebrew.
Yeah, no, you're right. That doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't add up at all. Yeah, they somehow have lost their blind sight, their ability to detect noise and heat, but have not increased their vision at all, their actual vision at all. It's still 60 feet. Passive perception, of course, goes up with the stats. They do have a bonus 2 perception at this point, as well as stealth, although the stealth bonus remains the same at +5. And if you look at the actual core ability scores, the intelligence has increased from 1 to 7. So not a small increase. However, it's still a -2 intelligence. It's still borderline beastly with that intelligence. 16 plus 3 wisdom, though. Quite high.
That's what, yeah. So, like, that's, like, insight is a wisdom skill. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I agree with you that they should work in tandem, but that would defeat the purpose of the ability scores. Like, they would just merge them and have one mental score.
Right.
So this makes sense that you would seek it out for its advice because it is very wise.
Mm-hmm. So they Roper...
That being said, encounter this position is do not seek out ropers.
Yeah,
I think that's got to be our legal standpoint
definitely
on this.
Don't. Although it would be an interesting adventure hook, I think, to some degree. But I would end up creating a homebrew ancient roper, like something that's lived for an astonishing amount of time, of an astonishing size. Something totally outside of the realm of these stat blocks. And make it would be kind of cool to have a centralized, almost have like a roper that has, oh my god, I'm having this crazy idea now.
There's a tiny mountain, and that's the tip of the roper. You got to go underground.
I'm thinking like massive cavern in which two ropers, or from ceiling to floor, or one roper has grown so large, or the two ropers have grown so large they've connected, and they're like a pillar inside a cavern that is like the integral to the structural integrity of like the space, and they're so unbelievably large.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty mental too.
Yeah. But they're like, but are immobile at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like,
they'd have to be
hyper dangerous.
150-foot reach.
Yeah. Right. Something like that. Yeah. Tendrils coming out of their earth and everything instead of just off their body. So they also have false appearance, but they can do the stalactite or stalagmite. They can do both. Spider climb as well. And they have grasping tendrils. So this is like basically they can have 6 tendrils at a time, and each tendril has an AC 20, 10 HP, and are immune to poison and psychic.
Goddamn better be.
Yeah. And destroying a tendril does not deal damage to the roper.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And they can recreate a replacement tendril on its next turn at no cost. So between the time it's cut off and destroyed to the start of the roper's next turn, that's the only time you'll have one less tendril, essentially.
I don't know how I feel about that yet, but let's keep going through the stat block.
Yeah. And then the tendril can also be broken, quote unquote, with a DC 15 strength check. So you can kind of just, I don't know if that means like you've broken it, but it's still intact. So it's like, you've broken the muscles in a way that it's no longer functional, or if it means like you've actually snapped it off with raw strength as opposed to a weapon. Up to your interpretation, I suppose. But there's a part of me that would want to like almost like break it off. So like the sinew and muscle inside are no longer attached, but they're still attached by skin, and therefore like you've now made one of the tendrils useless and it can't be regenerated. That's where I want to go.
Yeah.
With it.
I prefer that road. Otherwise, it should just be included with the attack against it. Right. Normally, it would be included in the same line.
Yeah.
So that would be my interpretation as well, and I think it's more interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's where I'm going. I find it more interesting. So multi-attack. Get the attacks here. It does have multi-attack, and at the beginning, it sounds more dangerous than it is. It takes 4 tendril attacks. It uses its real ability, its real attack, and it uses its bite, all in one turn.
Okay. I care for this grasping tendril thing less now.
Here's the thing with the tendrils is that they don't do damage, but rather, so they have a +7 to hit. They have a 50-foot reach, which is not small for a large creature. And what they do is if they hit, they automatically grapple. So they're doing a 2-hit grapple instead of like an athletics check, and the escape DC is 15. Until the grapple ends, the target is restrained and has disadvantage on strength checks and saving throws. So it makes it harder to escape and break them and what have you because of what the lore said.
Right.
Where they sap your strength a bit. So they are making it harder to escape there. And then, of course, the roper cannot use the same tendril to on another target while grappling, which is pretty standard. And then, so it can do this 4 times. It can whip out 4 different tendrils at once. And if it happens to grab 4 different party members all at once, it can now all of them reel in, which it can only do up to 25 feet at a time per turn. But if you're all within 25 feet, like you get pulled straight to the roper, all 4 of you. And then it can bite, but it can only bite a single target at a time. And that's a +7 hit as well, and it's a 4d8 + 4.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's pretty big for a CR5. Like it's not a small amount of damage.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of mechanics in there that I don't know if I care for.
Yeah, there's a lot happening depending on the spacing of your party. and like, you know, is your wizard in the back, is your fighter up the front, very likely, you know. And how far away are you? You know, does this roper attack when you're at 50-foot range, or does it wait till you get a bit closer, or like someone's a bit closer while someone's still far away? It's a lot of like tiny little things happening there. So, but in one turn, it could technically latch onto a 4-person party, and then you know, say they're at a distance between 25 and 50 feet, you know, from the closest to the furthest, like, you know, within that same first turn, they could pull one really close and bite it, and then pull the wizard in like halfway. And then the next turn, if they didn't manage to escape, they can pull him in the rest of the way and then bite the wizard. But they're really still only getting one actual attack per turn. So
yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's the real mechanic that I don't find it believable that they can lash out, hit a target with a 50-foot reach, grapple it, but they can't pull it 50 feet back. Like, it takes them 12 seconds to pull them 50 feet back. That's
yeah.
what I'm grappling with.
It does seem weird. I mean, especially when you look at the artwork where they're literally just lifting. Every piece of artwork is them lifting someone up and like, you know, in the air. Where this reads more like dragging you across the ground while you resist.
Yeah, and it's got a strength of 18. Like, I would just cut out the real mechanic entirely.
Yeah.
And then I think this would be a much more interesting creature.
Yeah, and I mean, 18's not... I mean, when you're comparing to like what the average human's supposed to be in 5e or whatever, like, you know, it's quite
Which
high.
Is
but
10,
yeah,
so.
but it's like not extraordinary in the grand scheme of things, an 18 strength. You know, it's not like...
No, I mean, these things are vestigial regenerative, so like it shouldn't be. I actually really, really like this creature. I really like all the mechanics. I really like the stat block. I really, really enjoy everything that's happening here. I don't feel the need for the real mechanic.
Okay. So
I just think it's one step too much, because it can only bite one creature anyway. What the fuck does it matter if it can pull them all in 25 feet or 50 feet? Like, it just,
I think,
gives the PCs an extra turn to hit it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. Like, there is this, to me, it's a sense of like danger. If you use it right, you know. So if that wizard is far away, but the fighter is close, if they are that 5-foot range, then when you pull in the fighter and bite it, and it hits really hard, then the wizard's like, shit. Like, they're going to start to feel this anxiety, ideally, because they know they haven't been pulled the whole way in, but they're still grappled, so maybe they may be able to take the next hit. So there might be this sense of foreboding or terrified sort of nature happening with the players if you play with it in that way.
You know what? I agree with you completely, but my counterpoint would be, then why can't it just make 6 tendril attacks?
Well, yeah, I was thinking of the same thing. It's got 6. Why is it only doing 4? My problem is more with the tendril attacks than the actual reel. Like, but also the reel is like you can play with that. Like, it's so you could just use it. You could. It's almost unnecessary. I'm also almost with you on that, because it's almost unnecessary to have it in that step-by-step process. Because like, maybe you just want to lift them 25 feet. It doesn't specify that, but why not? Like, have them lift, have them move you from side to side or something like that. Have them keep you at bay. You know, because if they just pull everyone in at the same time, like, real specifies they pull in, right? But you could actually use it to like stop someone from moving, because like, if you just pull everyone in, you're giving everyone a chance to attack. You get disadvantage on strength checks and saving throws, not attack rolls. So like, if you pull everyone in and everyone goes melee,
I think the grapple condition already does that, though.
It did specify somewhere. I think we covered it in that. If you're grappled, you are restrained, so you can't move on your own. So you know which tendril is reeling, and but the stat block doesn't reflect that, or rather, I guess the 5e doesn't provide like tactic options like some of the previous editions did. But like that's something that I feel like is missing from the whole reel thing. It's not just about reeling them in; it's also about probably keeping someone at bay.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, like, that doesn't. So the way this reads is they can do 4 tendrils, 1 reel, and 1 bite to me. Well, okay, never mind. Under reel, it says pull each grappled creature.
So anyone who is grappled, they get reeled at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, you have to pull all 4 grappled creatures. Like,
I mean, it reads as if you do have to. I guess my argument is that you don't have to. You can choose. You could. Surely you can pick and choose.
For sure.
Yeah.
And my a way of agreeing with you would be to just remove that mechanic and describe it. Like, okay, instead of it pulling you 25 feet in, it pulls in the one that's not armored plated 25 feet.
Right.
And the rest of you, it raises 25 feet. So if you free yourself, you're taking 2d6 worth of falling damage.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That's such a great way of looking at it too. And you know what I would do for sure is I would have one of these prioritize the biggest, bulkiest creature for the bite, regardless of armor, because they can digest most things, but they're hungry. They want to eat as much as possible. So I would think they would target the biggest, meatiest one. So if you're rolling with a Goliath or a half orc or something like that, like you're gonna get eaten first.
Or a barbarian who's raging.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna take into account how much danger you are. They want to eat the biggest morsel.
I just always assume any class that prioritizes strength would be the bulkiest.
That or Constitution, to some degree. Although the strength definitely implies bulkiness, but then Constitution, if you have a high, it always makes me feel like I have a high Constitution because I get a nice little belly on me. You know. I know that doesn't translate properly, but fuck it.
Nope. That has nothing to do with how many punches you can take.
Shut your mouth.
That would contribute negatively to your dexterity. I think. That's the same way mine does.
It's very, very true.
Like my athletics can be high, but my acrobatics are certainly not.
It's funny because I was thinking about this the other day about how neither strength nor dexterity account for cardio. You know, dexterity is like quick movement and reaction time. Strength is like brute strength and the ability to, persevere under physical pressure. But nothing accounts for cardio. Maybe Constitution does.
Actually, con is physical pressure, not strength.
Well, physical assertion. I guess maybe it's a more appropriate way of saying it. Is what I meant.
Strength is the only outward. Strength and dex are the only outward specific stats, whereas con is inward. Institution and wisdom are obviously inward, and I guess charisma is probably outward, but
I guess arguments being made it's funny. This makes for an interesting conversation between the systems of 5e and or D&D and Pathfinder. In that Pathfinder has fortitude for a save, which is reflected by Constitution, and it specifically does not have things like a charisma saving throw, intelligence saving throw, or a strength saving throw. They just do dex-based ones with reflex, will with wisdom, and fortitude with Constitution. Whereas in 5e, you're more likely if they have the contested check. So if you're doing a grapple check or something like that, you're doing athletics versus athletics. You're doing strength on strength. Whereas in Pathfinder, it would be an athletics check on someone's fortitude save or DC, which is Constitution based. So you have these very different approaches to the same scenario using different stats.
Yeah, I like there are other systems out there. I'm trying to find one, but I can't find it offhand. I prefer a different set of stats than like our traditional set of stats. I'd rather I like physical, mental, appearance, and there's another one that I liked.
I think there are alternate rules
fortitude
I think they're for second edition Pathfinder, where you could actually combine like strength and dex together into a single stat, and they represent your physicality. And I think there might be another one for intelligence and wisdom. I clearly don't know it off the top of my head, but I've heard talk about that sort of approach before, where it's like, okay, instead of just having these separate, let's just combine them and make them more streamlined and seamless.
For sure.
One thing's for sure is I'm an advocate for that intelligence wisdom combo in some degree. I understand keeping them separate, but also there's got to be some things that have to be influenced by both, you seldom see that, if ever, reflected.
Yeah, I hear you. I would rather just have like one mental stat, like physical, mental, fortitude, and like sanity would be enough for me.
Right. Sanity. Yeah.
I love sanity mechanics. I've been
fun.
thinking a lot about Call of Cthulhu lately. So
Yeah, okay. I've not read
trying
enough.
to sell my fiance on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only notes I wrote down for this creature in homebrew were that I'm unconvinced about the Roper having an alignment. Even its intelligence is not that much higher than the Piercer. So like, why is it suddenly chosen? Why are they all suddenly chosen to be neutral evil? Like, I feel
like you said, like you believe wisdom is more animalistic, it's more primal, and
right.
alignment has nothing to do with your alignment is reflected by your choices, but it doesn't always have to do with your choices.
Right.
Like that could just be this thing's nature, but I agree with you. It should be neutral.
I think
neutral evil seems ridiculous.
I just think it should be unaligned again. That's it. If you have to give alignment, then just true neutral. But I think it just should be unaligned. I still picture this creature, despite its high wisdom, as more bestial.
I legitimately cannot pick a difference between unaligned and true neutral. So sure.
Yeah. True neutral. It comes down to decision making. Is this creature making active decisions? Like that was citation needed shit about its insightfulness in philosophy. Right? There's no reference for that. So if you're just looking at the stats alone, like true neutral is like it's deliberately choosing and thinking your way into a specific aligned stance. Whereas unaligned is like you're not thinking about it at all. You're just acting on instinct. You're just doing whatever you do. There is no thought to it. You just do what you do because that's what you do because you're an animal. Okay. Pretty much all animals are unaligned unless they are hyper intelligent. Is pretty much the rule or the trend that I've seen anyway.
Yeah, beast monstrosities, that kind of makes sense.
The other thing that I noticed was lacking, and I kind of understand it, but I wish it was there anyway, is that the Roper does not have a drop function. It could go on the ceiling, it could be a stalactite, but does not have the drop ability in its stat block. And I think it should. Even though it's large, it's probably at tremendous more risk, perhaps, in not getting away with it, or the damage it takes, based on its size. So I thought about it just briefly, and I thought I would add it to the Roper, but due to its size, I would guarantee the fall damage. Full fall damage, not half. So it would take full fall damage if it missed. And even then, I would say maybe half damage even if it hits. But then I would also allow for a dex save for half damage by the PCs. Because it's much larger, and you're more likely.
I was just thinking that, it's like that would be more of an AOE than an attack.
Like a particularly desperate Roper could, be on the ceiling to avoid being hurt and like try to kill creatures by lifting them in the air with the tendrils and then make its way down to devour them. But if it really felt like it was desperate, it could climb up there and get ready to drop and probably do like a lot of damage. I would probably up the damage quite a bit, but it's doing so at a major risk to its own self. And it's more likely the PCs will avoid it for like half damage or entirely, if they have evasion. I just feel like it's sorely missing for no reason. And maybe like usual, get a little more complicated with it than I need to, but I think it should be there because why not? It's right there with the blind sight. Put the blind sight right in, and then give it a drop function.
Yeah, I mean, I got no complaints with either of those tweaks. Again, in my ability, my constant strive to simplify these fucking creatures. I wouldn't give it the drop function, but there's no reason why this thing wouldn't have blind sight to me.
Yeah.
So
absolutely no reason. Yeah.
But in my home game, I pretty much ignore lighting for the most part for my creatures anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. When we're playing on Foundry,
if they live in that ecology, there's no reason why they can't see in that instance. Like there's no reason a frost giant would be hanging out in a dark room if it can't see in the fucking dark.
Yeah. Like when we're playing in Foundry VTT, like I don't have the dynamic lighting or visuals set up for the monster tokens at all. If I need to see whether or not it sees you, I click you and see your vision, right? I don't need it. Yeah. I don't need it built in for all of those guys. Yeah, I do.
There's no need for it.
Yeah, you do have to consider whether they have dark vision, but that's usually if you've cast something to make it dark, you know, if you're already in
Yeah.
a dark place, you can pretty much guarantee they got dark vision. Like, you know, otherwise they wouldn't be there.
I'll legit only look at it if it's humanoid. Like,
Yeah, sure.
There's no other reason to look at it.
Totally
for me.
fair, yeah.
Like, there's no reason you're ever gonna encounter like a bird in a cave.
Yeah.
Like,
Does this humanoid have wolf eyes? I better double check.
yeah, I mean, sure, it's possible, or they could have the ability to cast dark vision on themselves, or what have you. Like, that's the only time I'll look into those stat blocks is if it's humanoid. But for the most part, if you're running a pre-written adventure, even if you're not, like, honestly, you got enough going on. Fuck it.
Yeah. Seriously.
Lighting is not the lighting mechanic is designed to be your friend, not to fucking handcuff you. Rules is written.
Yeah. Absolutely. The only time it gets I would get specific about darkness is when you are in the places like the Underdark, when you are in blanketly black places, right? But even then, like, don't get too carried away with like how far does the torch reach? Like, it's like a 20-foot bright and a 40-foot dim or some shit like that. Like, just don't sweat it too much. You know,
And 40 feet is so big for every fucking room.
It is big.
Like,
and most maps are tight quarters in general, right? So,
yeah.
you know, unless you're working with a massive cavernous map, you know, that you really need, for some reason, like, you know, to monitor that 40-foot range. Like, you know, by all means, sweat about it then, but the likelihood is pretty low.
Yeah, but the decision rests with you guys. Like, I'll tell my players when they're entering a dark room, or like when they enter a dungeon, I'll always give them like the features of the dungeon. Like, this is how high the ceilings are. This is how moist it is. You know, there's water on the floor. Oh yeah, it's dark. It's fucking cold. Like, figure your shit out.
Yeah.
And I'll ask about it when I remember. It's like, okay, do you have enough hands to cast a spell, wield your short sword, and hold the torch?
Right.
You know, if it comes up. But you know, also, if I don't remember it, like, it doesn't matter. Like, the game is designed for the PCs to win anyway.
Yeah,
so,
seriously.
like,
I mean,
fuck it.
Most races in 5e have dark vision, so
Yeah.
for a reason, really. It's to make it easier.
Don't even sweat it on your creatures if you don't want to.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to, then cool. Like, you're a better dungeon master than I'll ever be, and that's awesome. I respect the shit out of that. Or, you know, maybe you can tell us a situation in which a monster having dark vision is important, because I would honestly love to hear that. As with all interesting shit from our audience, I always want to hear from that. And normally this is where I would roll into the outro spiel, but I want to talk about real quick one of the decisions I made in our off time, because you told me we were going to do piercers and ropers in response to Darkmantle. And one of the things I didn't have prepared for Darkmantle, partially because I wrote it like 2 weeks before we actually recorded it, and then we recorded it after 7 hours of recording for our other show.
Yeah.
I have decided that I would run piercers and piercers and Darkmantles as more of a trap than anything. So instead of running these like as actual creatures, I would run them as like traps that manually reset themselves. If the players want to enter a combat afterwards, you know, they can always decide they're going to roll for initiative. But for the most part, I think I would just have this shit fall from the ceiling. Like, here's your trigger. You enter their space. They drop. They attack. If they miss, they just scuttle off into the darkness. Like, I would not have you guys roll initiative until you said, or you know, somebody got hit with a dark mantle, or somebody got hit with a piercer. I would just keep launching them at you until you were like, oh, maybe that cloud of floating darkness is something we should be worried about. Okay, our cleric's being suffocated right now. Now you roll for initiative. So I think that's how I would roll it, is wait until it adversely affects the PCs and build up the suspense and the momentum of the adventure with just it functioning as a trap, instead of, okay, roll for initiative. Okay, the piercer's got a surprise round. It's going to fall on you. Okay. I would just, you know, I would roll the hit against my player's AC. Yeah. And then if it hit, then we would enter initiative.
Yeah.
And we would start initiative with a dark mantle on your head or a piercer in your sternum.
I mean, I actually love that. It's been a long time since I looked at traps in 5e, but I do recall really enjoying them as a concept. And I can tell you that hazards in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, which are essentially the same thing, but they cover like, loads of bases like the 5e traps too, where it's like, whether it's a physical trap of like swinging blades, or it's a magical trap, or it's a haunt, or something ghostly and whatever. And they have really cool separate stat blocks for how they function, and some of them are initiative order and some of them are not. And like, they almost always have a reaction trigger that they start with, and that like no one can really avoid. And then from there they have like an initiative count and stuff like that. And yeah, that's actually a really cool and fun approach. I'm a big fan of that idea, big time.
Yeah, I've been looking at them a lot more lately because I've been writing our scenario for our Bugbear tier, which is a $25 Patreon tier, in which I or Freeman will run you through a game once per year. And we're getting to the point where we're about ready to run our Bugbear patrons through our first ever Bugbear game. So traps will, spoilers, be playing a part in that.
Yeah, sweet. Can't wait. So. That's super fun.
Yeah. So if you like that idea, you want us to run you through a game, you want to see me put my money where my mouth is, or more accurately, you want to put your money where my mouth is, you can find all that stuff on patreon.com/encounter this. $5 a month will get you a handwritten thank you letter and access to the show notes. $10 a month you'll have the ability to suggest a creature. We didn't really talk about anything that anybody could suggest this time. So, maybe there's something you've encountered in the Underdark that you really want to hear us bitch about, I guess, which is what this show's really become. You can do that for $10 a month. Like I said, for $25 a month, you can get access to that Bugbear once per year Patreon game. And all the tiers are self-reliant. So for that $25, you'll also get to suggest a creature. You'll also get that handwritten thank you letter. And each individual handwritten thank you letter has a fun fact about Freeman or I that we don't often share on this show. If you've got a great story about how you would use a creature with dark vision, we absolutely want to hear it. You can find us on Twitter or Facebook at EncounterPod, or Instagram at encounter.pod. If you want to look at some of our back episodes, like Freeman's Old Sturges episode 56, you can find that on our website at encounterthis.ca, your podcatcher of choice. If you've got time, we would greatly appreciate a rate and review. It really does help us in the leaderboards, believe it or not. Not that leaderboards is the appropriate term for that.
I wasn't going to say
But we do kind of win at this podcasting, even though we're just barely mediocre at it. And if you like us for whatever ungodly reason and you absolutely need more content for us, we just released an actual play podcast where Freeman is the game master. That is right, folks. I said game master because we are heretically playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition. The Adventure of the Abomination Vaults, I believe, is the actual title of the show. And you can find that at Uncharted North or at Uncharted No everywhere, or at Stemming the Tide on your podcatchers of choice, or just reach out to us. We'll hook you up with the link. The first 6 episodes will be out, give or take, when this drops. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but we're diversifying our podcasting portfolio. We do 5e, we do Pathfinder. Maybe next we'll do your favorite game. So tell us what that is. The Dresden Files, Sailor Moon, I don't know, Dragon Ball Z, the RPG, the new Avatar RPG that just got funded on Kickstarter. Let us know. Maybe we'll look into it.
Amazing.
Yeah, there's a brand new Avatar: The Last Airbender RPG, and I super want to play it.
I had no idea. I'm interested. Yeah. Color me interested.
Yeah. So thank you, as always, so much for listening, and we really hope if this was your first episode, it roped you in.
And pierced your hearts.
Fuck, we are so bad at this.
We're so bad at it. If you want to hear other really terrible transitions, listen to the new podcast.
Or keep listening to the back episodes of this one, because they're not any better.
Oh, the worst.
Thanks again, listeners, and we will see you in 2 weeks for our last episode of 20 whatever year it is. 21, is that right?
No, 20. Wait, is it? No, it is 20.
We'll see you in 2 weeks for our last episode of 2021. Whatever that happens to be. Thank you. All right.